The old moving truck groaned to a halt in front of 137 Willow Creek Lane, its engine sputtering out like a final weary breath. For the Miller family, this was it, the start of a new life in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. Mark and Sarah, along with their 7-year-old daughter Lily, stepped out of their car, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. The house stood before them, a 2-story colonial with peeling white paint and shutters that hung slightly askew. It wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. The previous owners had left in a hurry, leaving behind a few pieces of furniture and a strange, lingering chill that even the Florida sun couldn't seem to chase away. As the family began unpacking, Lily, with her boundless curiosity, decided to explore their new home. She wandered from room to room, her small footsteps echoing on the bare hardwood floors. Her adventure led her to the dusty, forgotten attic. A single, grimy window cast a sliver of light across the space, illuminating dancing dust motes and forgotten treasures. In a dark corner, half hidden beneath a faded floral sheet, she found an old, ornate wooden chest. It wasn't locked. With a little effort, she lifted the heavy lid. Inside, nestled among moth-eaten linens, was a single peculiar object, a vintage marionette. It was a clown, with a painted-on smile that seemed a little too wide, and eyes that were just black, glassy beads. Its costume was a patchwork of faded red and yellow silk, and its wooden limbs were jointed with tarnished brass pins. Lily was fascinated. She named him Giggles and brought him downstairs to show her parents. Sarah felt a strange unease looking at the doll. "Where did you find this, sweetie?" she asked, her voice a little tight. Mark, ever the pragmatist, dismissed her worries. "It's just an old toy, Sarah, a little creepy, maybe, but harmless." He couldn't have been more wrong. That night, the house seemed to come alive with strange noises. The floorboards creaked as if someone was walking around, and faint, childlike giggling seemed to drift from the hallway. Mark and Sarah attributed it to the house settling, but the sounds felt purposeful, almost taunting. In her room, Lily was having a whispered conversation with Giggles, who sat propped against her pillow. From the hallway, Sarah could just make out her daughter's voice, followed by moments of silence, as if she were listening to a reply. A cold knot of fear tightened in her stomach. The next morning, things got stranger. Lily's toys were arranged in a perfect neat circle in the middle of her room, something the perpetually messy 7-year-old would never do. When Sarah asked her about it, Lily just smiled and said, "Giggles did it. He likes things tidy." Sarah's unease turned into genuine alarm. She tried to take the marionette away, but Lily threw a tantrum unlike any she'd ever seen, screaming and crying until Sarah reluctantly gave it back. That afternoon, while playing in the yard, Lily fell from the swing set. It wasn't a high fall, but she landed awkwardly, breaking her arm. As Mark rushed her to the hospital, Sarah stayed behind. Alone in the quiet house, she swore she heard that same faint, chilling giggle coming from Lily's empty room. Driven by a growing dread, Sarah decided to do some research. She spent hours online, digging into the history of their new house and the surrounding area. She found old newspaper archives and local history forums. One story caught her eye, a post from a woman whose family had lived in the house 30 years ago. The post was a warning. It spoke of a cursed clown puppet and a string of misfortunes that plagued her family: illnesses, accidents, financial ruin. They finally fled the house, leaving the cursed object behind, hoping to break its hold. The description of the marionette matched Giggles perfectly. The post mentioned an old antique shop in the historic San Marco district that supposedly knew about the puppet's origins. Desperate, Sarah drove to the shop, a cluttered place that smelled of dust and old paper. The owner, a frail elderly man named Mr. Abernathy, listened patiently as Sarah described the doll. His face grew pale. He told her the marionette was known as the Jester of Sorrows. It was carved over a century ago by a grieving toymaker whose entire family had perished in a fire. Consumed by rage and despair, he poured all his pain into his final creation, cursing it to bring misery to any family it attached itself to. The jester fed on happiness, turning it into sorrow. He warned her that the doll couldn't simply be destroyed. Fire would only release the malevolent spirit trapped within it, making it stronger. When Mark and Lily returned from the hospital, Lily's arm in a bright pink cast, Sarah told Mark everything she had learned. He was skeptical at first, but the mounting coincidences were becoming impossible to ignore. The air in the house felt heavy, oppressive. That night, they were woken by a blood-curdling scream from Lily's room. They rushed in to find her cowering in the corner, pointing a trembling finger at the rocking chair by the window. Giggles was sitting in it, slowly, impossibly, rocking back and forth on its own. The painted smile on its face seemed to mock them. That was the final straw. Mark, now a believer, agreed they had to do something. Mr. Abernathy had told Sarah there was a ritual away to bind the spirit back to the object and contain its evil. It required specific items: salt, iron, and an object of pure, untainted love. They gathered what they needed. The salt to create a protective circle, iron nails to pin the puppet down, and for the final item, Sarah chose Lily's first baby blanket, a symbol of their unconditional love for their daughter. They waited until Lily was asleep, then crept into her room. The air was ice cold. Giggles sat on the bed, its head tilted as if watching them. As Mark reached for it, the room's lights flickered violently. A guttural laugh, deep and menacing, echoed around them, seeming to come from the doll itself. Objects flew off the shelves, and the windows rattled in their frames. Ignoring the chaos, Sarah quickly laid down the salt circle around the puppet, while Mark pinned its limbs to the floor with the iron nails. The doll thrashed, its wooden limbs clattering against the floor with unnatural strength. Following Abernathy's instructions, Sarah draped the baby blanket over the struggling marionette. She spoke the words he had taught her, an old binding incantation, her voice shaking but firm. By the love that created life, by the light that holds back the night, I bind you to this form. Your sorrow ends here. Your reign is over. Be still. As she finished, a blinding flash of white light filled the room, and a final agonized shriek tore through the house. Then silence. The coldness in the room dissipated, replaced by a sudden warmth. Giggles the clown lay still, pinned to the floor, its painted smile now looking like a simple, harmless feature on a forgotten toy. They sealed the Jester of Sorrows in the old wooden chest, wrapped it in iron chains, and buried it deep in the backyard, encased in concrete. They never spoke of it again. The strange noises stopped, the oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the house on Willow Creek Lane finally felt like a home. The Millers had faced the darkness that lurked within its walls and won. But sometimes, on quiet nights, Sarah would look out at the backyard and wonder if evil could ever truly be buried forever. For now, though, her family was safe. And that was all that mattered. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to share and subscribe for more chilling tailies.